SCPs are divided into object classes. The object class of an SCP does not equate to its power or how dangerous the anomalous object, entity, or phenomena is. It is merely a measure as to the amount of resources and effort expended to contain and maintain its confinement. Overall, how difficult it is to contain. Now, I want to go more in depth on the object classes themselves. So we'll start off with safe. The ease at which containment is guaranteed is what grants this object class. SCPs that fall under this category are not resource hungry enough to maintain sealed away, but don't let that distract you from the dangerous capabilities it may possess. Most safe categorizations are given to SCPs that are not sentient or possess intelligence. And if they do possess intelligence, they are more likely to be altruistic and good-natured so that they better fit the safe categorization. I think SCP-914 is a good example of this classification. It is an extremely powerful and unpredictable machine with the capability of upgrading or downgrading anything that fits within its chambers, including other SCPs. If this machine were to fall into the wrong set of hands and was, say, used to improve upon a virus capable of destroying the human race, or perhaps improving upon an already world-ending SCP, it could not only lead to the end of our existence, but also to the end of everything else. Most SCPs are unpredictable due to the very anomalous nature. Therefore, Euclid is the most common designation. Due to their unreliable nature, Euclid SCPs require more precautions. A prisoner behind bars, thinking and plotting of escape, could be considered Euclid. SCPs that share this object class more than likely have minds of their own and do not take kindly to confinement. And that middle ground between an unpredictable entity and a sapient being is a moral quandary that I think should be pondered. If most SCPs are Euclid, and most Euclid SCPs are capable of sapience, is it right to detain them? I think most Euclid SCPs fall into this category, but I think SCP-049 is one that straddles the line perfectly between not really knowing if detaining it should be considered ethical. Of course, most people who read that article would come to the same conclusion that SCP-049 is a nut job and should be behind bars and not be free to experiment on whoever he wishes. An SCP that is sentient and trying to cure the world of the pestilence. At first glance, the doctor is completely insane and there is no method to his madness. But maybe we can consider it differently. What if there were a method to his madness? What if by causing pain through his necromancy and experiments, he is able to cure whatever the pestilence is? Of course, this brings us back to the original question of the article. What exactly is this pestilence? What if the pestilence was the root of all illness, or possibly mortality itself? If SCP-049 was allowed to experiment, could he possibly save humanity from itself? Is it right to have a medieval plague doctor experiment on hundreds or thousands of lives just for the chance to save everyone? Keter. Keter class is reserved for the SCP that are nearly impossible to contain and have a huge strain on the Foundation's resources. The unpredictable nature of Euclid doesn't compare to the sheer chaos that are Keter class SCPs, uncooperative, unyielding, and perhaps most distressing of all, unsanctimonious, are the kind of SCP that occupy this class, and sometimes to the detriment of humanity, possessing all of the above traits. The complex nature of containing these SCPs is what mainly contributes to their subject class, and although Keter class doesn't automatically equal how dangerous an SCP is, most Keter class SCP, if left to their own devices, can and will inflict mass casualties on the human population and perhaps extinction. If safe class equates to dangerous tools and Euclid equates to misunderstood creatures, then Keter class seems to be occupied by evil, sentient monsters, or a non-sentient object that can cause more harm than good. Again, Keter class doesn't equate to danger, only to the difficulty of containing said SCP. If the SCP refuses to cooperate and is strong and willful enough to escape containment, then that means it is a danger to us all. A good example of Keter class is SCP-682, which fits perfectly. It is a very dangerous creature with the capability to wipe out humanity, as it seems inclined to do, and because of this urge, it is difficult to contain, therefore fulfilling Keter class. Thaumiel. The Thaumiel classification, although rare, is perhaps the most captivating. It is essentially an SCP that is used to contain other SCPs. The main characteristic of this SCP is that it is controllable. Controllable in the sense of being able to be used as a weapon, or better still, a tool, to help subdue other dangerous SCP and even other humans. The use of such powerful anomalies is in itself a risk factor, as even though the SCP Foundation is in the service of humankind, a rogue agent could easily cast the ordinary into disarray due to their very nature of being ease of use. One essential example to the inner workings of the SCP Foundation is SCP-3000. This anomaly secretes a substance that is used in the cream of amnestics, which are basically memory wipers, which are used prolifically within the Foundation to ensure the ignorance of the civilian population. The serpentine creature is predictable, and its secretion is a powerful tool used to subjugate humans and SCP alike. These are what I believe to be the bread and butter of SCP classifications. If you're still confused about where everything goes, there's a really good test to ascertain the classification of said anomaly. It goes like this. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and nothing bad will happen, then it's probably safe. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, then it's probably Euclid. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it easily escapes, then it's probably Keter. If it's the box, then it's probably Thaumiel. Of course, these aren't the only classifications that exist. For the sake of brevity, I will only go over them quickly, but they are in no way any less important than the former classifications. I urge you to read further. Again, link in the description. Apollyon. These SCPs are imminent world-ending threats and require immense resources to contain or even eliminate. These are true apocalyptic starters, ready to plunge the world into chaos if left alone. Archon. Archon SCPs that are best left alone due to containment being a worse alternative. Although in theory, they could be contained, these anomalies are better thought of as a moody teenager, best left to their own devices, unless worse effects are what you seek. Ticonderoga. Ticonderoga class is similar to Archon class. These SCPs are best left uncontained, but unlike Archon, they cannot be contained. This class can best be thought of as a force of nature, or even an eldritch entity not to be trifled with, like trying to contain the concept of death or a benign god, best left to its own devices, because you couldn't, even if you tried. There's more classifications, so I'll just go over them quickly. There's explained SCPs, which are SCPs that have been fully understood. Neutralized, which are SCPs that have been disabled or destroyed. Decommissioned, which are SCPs that were intentionally destroyed. Pending SCPs that are awaiting designation. And finally, uncontained anomalies, which are in the process of being contained. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, and like. You won't regret it.